Hey team, in this video I'm going to be showing you my favorite hamstring stretches to do with your stretching strap. Now if you don't have a strap, just use a rolled up towel. You can use one of those microfiber towels or a big beach towel even if you've got it, whatever you've got handy. If you do have a stretching strap and you do have the little kind of foot holes at the bottom of it, or the yoga mat holes rather, I'm going to get you just to swing that around the ball of your foot. So you want it kind of quite high up. It's going to sit just above the ball of your foot and then just allow it to kind of tighten there. And we're going to roll ourselves down onto our back. So bringing yourself all the way down, you can let I've got it around my right foot, so I'm just going to let my left foot just stay heavy, and I'm going to draw that leg up. So I'm going to allow the leg to completely extend, and I can either hold that strap with one or both hands here. So I'm just going to allow it to just find a little bit of length to start with there. And with that strap around the ball of the foot, I'm going to start to bend the elbows and flex into that foot. So I'm kind of actively trying to draw my toes down towards the shin there. And then I'm just going to let the foot point, let it draw away, so you're easing out of the stretch. So you're finding that pull down, allowing that calf to find that greater degree of stretch. And then you're allowing that point, letting it draw back up. We're going to go like that one more time. Find that draw down. And then find that release. Now I'm going to slide it down a little bit lower for the next one. So it's coming more around the sole of the foot. So it's nice and sturdy on there. That foot's not going to go anywhere now. I'm going to be able to draw it in just a fraction closer. Now what I'm trying to do here, as much as I can, is I'm trying to create a heavy sensation through my tailbone. So I don't want to pull it in and round through the pelvis, because even though I'm getting a stretch in my hamstring there, you know, the knee wants to bend. It's not as strong of a stretch as if I was trying to keep my pelvis quite still and get that nice big intense stretch, finding that full stretch through those hamstrings. So I'm going to draw that in while I'm trying to keep the sensation of keeping your sit bones reaching forwards and that tailbone heavy on the mat. And then I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let the left leg just straighten out a little bit, and I'm going to bring my right hand out to the side. So this one we're coming into our TFL here. So we're going to draw it across the body. If you're quite tight through the TFL, you may feel this really, really strongly, but just kind of ease in. You can always pull the strap back to center to bring yourself out of it. Otherwise, you can let it draw in nice and low. And then I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to start to supinate and pronate my foot. So I'm just going to take a tiny little turn inwards and a tiny little straighten back to neutral. So it's a little inversion or that supination of the foot, and what you'll start to feel is it almost works like a little nerve glide or nerve floss for this one. So you can start to feel that sensation radiating up through that lower leg. And then you're creating that little bit more movement. Again, it's quite intense at the start, and then it eases up once that's found a little bit of mobility and a little bit of stretch through all of that connective tissue. Do it one more time, bring it over to neutral, and then gently bring it back through center. So you'd repeat the same on the other side. So just going over to your left-hand side with this one. Just popping that strap again over the ball of the foot to start with, letting that right knee stay bent. And then I'm just going to find that flex into that foot and that point of that toe. So even though we are kind of going into the calves and the TFL with this one as well, that connective tissue in our fascia is everywhere. So if we're finding a little bit of length through the other areas that surround the hamstrings, like as we go down towards that leg, it's our calves and that soleus. As we go upwards, it's into those glutes, that TFL, more towards the front side, but still all surrounding that hip joint and back of the leg there. So it can never hurt to find a little bit of stretch out in all of the surrounding tissues, as well as the one kind of muscle group that you're trying to hit. So holding that last flex down, just getting that little bit of extra stretch. And then I'm going to move that strap down. So again, it's more over the sole of the foot, bringing it up and allowing that leg to extend. So I'm just kind of holding into it, and now I'm going to bring that focus into trying to keep that tailbone down. So as I try and, if I was to exaggerate it, it's a big posterior tilt in the pelvis that's going to loosen the hamstrings, and then it's a big anterior tilt in that pelvis that's going to stretch those hamstrings. So I'm trying to hit a bit of a happy medium in between those two. I'm trying to kind of get that pelvis into a neutral position. And then when that feels like it's had enough, just let that right leg lengthen out. I'm going to bring that leg across the body. So just really, really gently, just allowing that stretch through that left kind of lateral side of your leg and hip. And then we're going to start really, really gently with that supination and pronation of the foot. So you're going to just take a tiny little turn inwards and a tiny little turn back to neutral. So you should feel this one. It's almost like it wraps over that lateral side of your foot and up the lateral portion of your lower leg. And then it starts to ease up the more that you do it. So you're finding that little movement. Again, it's super, super subtle. And letting it come back. We'll go one more. Bringing it back to center. And then taking that foot out. So the last little one we're going to do here is with our rollover. So we can bring it all the way up. Just going to shuffle myself back, just wiggling my glutes apart to try and get my sit bones nice and heavy here. And then I'm going to draw that strap over the balls of the feet again. So it's kind of balls of the feet, soles of the feet, wherever you're really at here. Now what we're trying to do is start really nice and tall, and then we're going to hinge ourselves forward. So you're trying to keep your spine nice and long without kind of rounding too much into it. I'm trying to reach my sit bones back, allowing those hamstrings to stretch. If you want a little bit more, you can always pop the flex in the feet to get into the calves there as well. But it doesn't take much for me just to take that hinge. If I was to kind of exaggerate it again, we don't want to, as we round the upper body, what tends to happen is, again, it's that posterior tilt of the pelvis, and those hamstrings have now gone lax. So to create tension and to find that stretch, getting them into that full stretch, I'm trying to send my sit bones back and just let my chest hinge forward with as straight of a spine as I can get. And then if it feels like it's a little bit too much, just allow it to let it go, let it round. And then just draw yourself back in. Finding that nice big stretch. Good, let it go. And then on the last one, we'll just let the body round. Again, it's not going to get the tightest of stretches through the hamstrings, but it can feel really nice to just find that full release through the back chain of the body, getting that big stretch all the way from the soles of the feet, running its line all the way up the back of the body, through the spine, and then over the crown of the head with that connective tissue. Just for 3. Last 2. And 1. Slowly bringing it all the way back up. So those are a few of my favorite stretches to target through those hamstrings and through those calves as well. Thanks guys, I will see you next time.